Thus, the instinctive love of justice for the people is clear. There is no question here. The task of revolutionary organizers is to take this instinct and bring it on the level where we come to be rational, where we come to reason. Thus, we must come to make unconscious struggle conscious. We must come to make unconscious struggle conscious. This, then, is the struggle for Pan-Africanism in the future. We have demonstrated that our people automatically have a strong feeling for the love of Africa, just by the maps they wear around their neck of Africa, just of the African names they give their people. We have seen this force for African unity is strong among the masses, but it's on an instinctive level. It must be raised from the instinctive level to the level of ration. Simply put, we have the hearts of our people, but what we need is their minds. We have the hearts of our people. What we need is their minds. This powerful aspect of our struggle, that is to say, this spontaneous aspect of it, this instinctive level of struggle, must not be undermined. On the contrary, it's by looking at it that it shows us the correct potential of destroying American imperialism. I mean, we have such hatred for the enemy that even without planning unconsciously, we can attack him. If you go to the rebellion in Watts in 1965, here you'll see a clear example. I mean, every night before August 1965, policemen come in our community, they whoop up on our heads, do like they want to us. We stand there, look and mumble to ourselves. We don't decide to plan, attack the police, nothing. We just mumble. One night in August, they come, they arrest a brother who is drunk, you understand? The brother pushes them, they use some force, which is necessary in their job to bring the brother under control, and the entire community goes off. I mean, they burn. I mean, they shoot at the police. I mean, they back the police outside the community. They call it the National Guard, and they throw Molotov cocktails at National Guard. They take over the entire community. All of this unplanned and spontaneous. Do you know what will happen when these Africans plan it? It's over. The point then must be clear. We are saying, first of all, that in Pan-Africanism we have to struggle. And since we're struggling unconsciously, it behooves us to struggle consciously, to plan our struggle. Certainly no one in America can deny this. The statement is clear. No African, not even an individual African in this country, has made any advancement without the shedding of the blood of the masses of our people, whether the confrontation was violent or nonviolent. This must be properly understood. Comes to get confused. We make no advancement in America without shedding blood. I mean, to sit in a filthy 5 and 10 cent store where you want to, you got to shed your blood. To sit on a bus just like everybody else where you pay the same amount of money, you have to shed your blood. Even if you're rich and you got money and you want to live anywhere you want to live in this country and you're African, you got to shed your blood. I mean, even to get your children to school where you pay taxes just like everybody else, you got to shed your blood. And to get the most sacred aspect of what they call democracy, the vote, you got to shed your blood. Nobody sitting in this room can show me one instance where we Africans have made an advance in this country without shedding our blood. And what we say is that the shedding of the blood is unconscious. It makes no sense. Look, logic at least will impose itself upon us. If you got to shed your blood in the 20s, in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, unconsciously, logic will tell you, better you get together, let's plan one time, shed our blood, and destroy the capitalist system. Thus, for the African masses, the necessity for conscious organization is a prerequisite for liberation. It's a prerequisite for all people for liberation, but for us especially because we struggle anyway. I mean, we struggle anyway. We're going to have to fight them anyway. So since we have to do it, it behooves us to come and plan it properly. This then is the aspect that we must look at because this is the transformation that we want in the 90s out of our struggle. We want to stop spontaneous struggles. We want to go to organized struggles. Africans in America are the most revolutionary, instinctive group in the country. We have been on the front lines in every struggle, indeed given directions to struggles unconsciously. If you will look at the anti-Vietnam struggle in the 1960s, you will see Africans unconsciously directed this movement. On the extreme left, you had the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee with the statement, hell no, we won't go. And they destroyed the draft. In the center of the movement stood Martin Luther King, giving moral determination to the movement to ensure the Vietnam War was stopped. These Africans unconsciously give direction. It is time that we become conscious. And when we become conscious, we will make rapid advance. I mean, look, when I was a young man working for SNCC, you understand, I did a lot of struggle to destroy the draft and to work against the war in Vietnam. I'm an old man now, I'm almost 50. That's what I'm talking about. If I live a couple of months, I'll make it, you understand? And at 50, it don't make sense for me to go and repeat what I did when I was 20. It makes no sense at all. You know, you must qualify your actions. Human beings cannot make quantitative progress, only qualitative progress. And you get quality from critically organizing quantity. Just as a tangent, to give you an example, if a child doesn't know how to count from 1 to 100, and we teach the child how to count from 1 to 100, after the child knows this, certainly the child has made progress. We must applaud. Yesterday, they couldn't count from 1 to 100. Today, they can. But until that child can critically organize those numbers, knowing that those numbers will have no effect upon human life. It's only when the child comes critically to organize those numbers to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division that those numbers become so useful that we can lay out fields, we can go to the moon. It is only through critically organizing quantity that progress is made for human beings. A clear political example can be given. In the 1960s, we had few elected officials in this country. Today, Africans in this country have more elected officials than any other ethnic group in the country. I mean, we have over 315 mayors of the biggest cities in the country. We have more congressmen than any other ethnic group. We have more state and county, local elected officials than any other ethnic group in the country. While we have more quantitatively, we have less power than every other ethnic group in the country. So some people get confused. As a matter of fact, even our history, they make our history quantitative history. He was the first. And here's another first one for you. And there's another first. And here's another first. So is quantitative progress? No. The only way we make progress is when we come to critically organize this quantity and make it be used as a weapon for the people. Thus, quantitative progress for human beings is not progress, only qualitative progress. So to come to repeat the anti-Vietnam War in the 1990s with more people is not progress at all. We must qualify the struggle in the 90s, not only to stop the war, but to stop all wars. Therefore, we must make this movement, the anti-war movement, an anti-capitalist and anti-Zionist movement to stop all wars.